Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Championship Sunday of CCS Season 7 presented by the Sideline Sports Network. I'm your host, Nation RL, joined by Wolfie Tuat, as today is the final day of CCS Season 7. 4 teams remain in the hunt for our national title. Akron trying to go 4 times back-to-back.
Well, Nation, to be able to be in the conversation and go 4 times back-to-back, that is special at the least. But, Akron, we mentioned yesterday, we were talking a little bit off-stream, that was a game that could have gone the other way for themselves. But that doesn't matter now. You're in the top 4. This is the moments where champions are made, and champions who have seen this light continue to shine bright.
And no program's ever won CCS twice until Akron did it back in the spring. Then they completed the Triple Crown back in the summer, winning 3 straight seasons. Now looking to go back for a 4th straight time, back-to-back as national champion. They'll defend a 3-time defending champion title today. We'll see how far this run will go. Akron is on a 21-0 hot streak run in this tournament. They have not lost a single tournament game since they began competing in CCS. Now today, they've got to prove it 2 more times. They're still on top of what now we just call their stomping grounds. They just don't lose.
Well, it's stomping grounds, but when you stomp into the swamp, well, what do you do there? For Florida, the Gators tonight, they're going to say, hey, we're coming out chomping at the bits. We want to allow ourselves to not just get into the top 2, but beat the champions. To be the best, you got to beat the best, and they have an opportunity right now before the finals to do so.
Well, Florida beat Akron in 3 at DreamHack in Atlanta just 2 weekends ago, so they've got recent history with Akron here. They swept them their first series at that event in Atlanta at DreamHack, and now today a chance for Akron obviously to get revenge and prove that CCS is still theirs to win and that this is their stomping grounds. But today I think is the biggest test they've ever had. But again, they're guaranteed to play a different opponent in the national title game shall they advance, as they've never had to play a repeat opponent in any season of this tournament. So they've run through no matter how many good teams are bringing into this dang league. It doesn't matter who it is. They always find a way to win, and it's always so fun to watch. And I'm excited to see who comes out on top today. Ball State, making their first ever Final Four as well as Florida and Wichita State. So, 3 of these 4 teams have, they're here for the first time on Sunday. Akron is no, new team here. They've been here 4 seasons now on Sunday competing for a 4th straight national title. We'll see how the night goes, but it's going to be a long day, 3 hours full of fun, starting right here in about a couple minutes. We are ready for kickoff nearly with Akron and Florida up first.
Well, I'm interested to see what Twitch chat has to say, who they feel is going to be able to run the gauntlet here tonight. But, the season on the line, all these teams going to be making history no matter who wins it tonight. But, for Akron, is the pressure too much? Are the lights too bright for themselves? It's a program. We've talked about the history that they've been able to produce over there for the Zips. But, you got to work quickly. You can't let the Gators here tonight be able to stay into this game, especially in a series like this. I think for Florida, you talked about the land in Atlanta, but difference now. Now there's ping. Now you find yourself saying, hey, my Wi-Fi, my internet's not going as well as I would like to. Last time we saw you guys in a neutral setting. But for Florida, it's saying, hey, it doesn't matter what the ping looks like. No ping or some ping. We're going to come out here and try to see ourselves ping some balls behind the net.
I think we're in for a long series here. I really do. I think if Akron gets by Florida right here, we're going to say they're 4-time defending national champions in 2 hours. So
and that's what people are hoping for, Nation. They're hoping to see the best team do it. Mm-hmm.
And I think if shall Akron survive Florida here, I think in 2 hours we're going to say that they're 4-time defending champions. I really do. Now Ball State and Wichita State are both good, but Akron has always owned Ball State in league play now, 3 straight wins over the Cardinals, and I don't think it's going to be any different here this afternoon. I think if Akron survives Florida, then they're national champions for a 4th time. But we'll have to wait and see. That's why we play these games. You never know what can happen. But nonetheless, I'm expecting a hell of a fight from all 4 teams today.
Well, primetime action here tonight to start things off the first game. But, like you mentioned, 3 hours of full action. Make sure to smash the heart button, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a follow. Make sure you have the notification bells on so you can stay up to date for all CCS action. But, Nation, in this first game, best of 7 is where we're going to see ourselves. I'm expecting at least 2 overtimes in this series. I want to see it go the distance. I want this to go over the scheduled program and say, hey, we're not following to the script. We're going to make our own narrative tonight. But who's going to be holding the pin at the end of this? History is dictated by the winners, and for Florida, this is that moment. We talk about so much for Akron. I know all the Akron fans are saying, Wolfie, it's no contest for the Zips. We're going to be able to do what we do to everybody and make it seem easy tonight. But I'm expecting some magic here.
It's why we play these games. You just never know what you're going to get, and Hammy Crackers on the Florida, the FAU transfer, trying to now lead the Gators into their first ever national championship alongside Larry and Sapp, who's a transfer from South Florida. But again, this league's been so fun to watch, and it's been fun to watch grow over the last 3 years. And I think this year's gonna be great. It's again the final day of CCS season 7, and we'll see everybody back February 1st for season 8 in February. So I'm excited to build on the league in the spring and hopefully get to 200 schools. We were really close this fall. I think the spring it's going to happen. But nonetheless, today should be a fun day. And if you're joining us now, we appreciate you being here. Please stay for the end. It's going to be a fun broadcast full of exciting things. So we're looking forward to what's ahead.
And you want to get your school into it, put !Discord into the chat, find a way into the Discord, and hit up Nation, hit up any admin in the server, get your school involved. You said it, the magic number right now, 200 Nation, and we're trying to see if we can get throughout this entire nation, every single school. But it's great watching it, Nation. Before the Final Four even starts, to be able to say that we have a platform to come out and try to prove ourselves. I understand we can look at the big boys, you can look at the other leagues around the state. All that matters is CCS. I'm not even going to mention the names from the other league, but it's where this is the championship right now. You have two great teams. Yeah, you have a team with so much history in Akron kind of playing in it. It's only where we're at right now, and we've seen a lot of rivalries. We saw the Red River rivalry early on, where we saw Texas just being able to come in and do some great things. But I think once we start seeing all these programs come in, the bigger things get, and who knows, Rocket League, the rivalries start to really come through. But looking at the next match, Nation, after this, want to see the winner of this one will be playing. Who do you feel between Ball State and Wichita State would be the tougher contest, really?
I think that comes down to experience. I think, Akron obviously being in the same conference as Ball State makes it a little bit more familiarity for the Zip. So I'd probably say the harder matchup is probably Wichita State, but I'd imagine they'd probably rather play Ball State, and I think Ball State has a slight edge right now, but again, that's why we play these games. I'm excited to watch that one later on this afternoon. But all four of these teams are very, very, very good, and any team playing on Championship Sunday deserves to be here 100%. And it's gonna be a fun battle. It's gonna be a fun afternoon. I'm excited.
If you don't have your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have a drink, you're missing out. You're going to want to be able to snack throughout the action. But, Nation, coming into game number 1 for both these two squads, they see themselves taking their time onto the pitch. Is this one where you're not trying to rush into it? We always talk about dipping your toe into the water, not trying to really show your hand too much in this one. Or are you saying, get game 1? I know it's a best-of-7 series, but let's start off with some big momentum.
We're just waiting on Florida to join the lobby, as it looks like Hammy Crackers is late by a couple minutes, which is classic. It's classic Hammy. He's always late to every series we stream. For a Florida game, he's always late. You can bet money on it, you'll win every time. But nonetheless, we're excited to be here, Wolfie. Again, like I said, we got to 180 schools this fall. The goal is 200 in the spring. We're hoping to get there, and I think with the expansion teams I've already talked to and a lot of brand new schools coming in, I think it's going to be very, very close, and I'm excited to hopefully get to announce we've hit 200. So I'm looking forward to it.
No, I think it's going to come soon, but soon the action here to start in game number 1 of a best-of-7 series for Hammy Crackers. You're talking a bit about him right here. This is a player who I've seen quite a bit really be able to take over the Rocket League scene, has been able to really produce a lot from his squad. But who are you looking to be that player in the series? Who's that difference maker for you?
Well, if Florida wins, it's Hammy Crackers. It's Hammy Hero Ball. Mm-hmm. Florida wins, and Hammy's trying to capture his second CCS championship. He won back in season 1 of Florida Atlantic, and back when he was a sophomore there. Now he's a junior at Florida, based off his credit hours. But again, very talented player, very good kid. Hopefully it's a good game. But again, Akron is Akron, and I always feel horrible when I bet against them. So I feel like I've got to stick to Akron. And again, Florida's very good. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like I can't bet on Akron. Anytime I say Akron's going to lose, they always prove me wrong. It doesn't matter how bad I think Akron looks in this series, and I say the next day they're going to lose. They just always find a way to win. So I think I've got to stick to my guts here and say Akron's going to win. But again, I'm excited just to watch the games, man. I was casting that Maryland game last night with Somber. I was sitting there nervous just watching it. I wasn't even playing.
And that's what happens with great teams. Great teams know how to finish off games, know how to finish off series. We can look at the MLB. We can look at the Dodgers. Everyone's looking at them, but the entire team came out and said, we don't feel we played our best baseball throughout the entirety of the playoffs, but we still won. And that's what experience gets you. That's what the hunger gets you, and the dedication of being in those big moments. And Akron, they're trying to put themselves in that team type of legacy portion. They're already there. They're already known as the pinnacle of esports and collegiate esports here in the entire nation. I would say in the entire entire world, and their fans know it. This is where the expectations for them. It's not. Well, can we get there? It's the standard. We know we're going to be able to play our best, but even if we don't, we have to find out a way to come out. But for Florida, 2 quick wins. You put the defending champs on their back heels, make them sweat a little bit. It's where I'm looking for Florida. Be aggressive, find yourself to pick up some demos off ball, see yourself really getting some pressure onto the Zips where they're not having enough boost to go for that current offense. The passing plays are no longer there. Just to make things interesting, Florida fans, as a Texas fan, this might be the only time I might say this here, but I think the Gators take this, Nation. I'm going to say, let's go with a little Cinderella story. It might mean more for them, but I don't know. Nothing on Akron. Akron, let me say this now. I know who you are. I know what you do. I know this is a storyline that you want to finish, but let's add a little monkey wrench into there and say, let's see for the boys from the swamp from Florida. It's tough to go in there to take a win, but can they get it here online?
We'll move into predictions, Wolfie. Akron is 21-0 in CCS tournament era, so now they're looking for a 22nd straight tournament victory. I'll start things off. I'll take the Zips in 7.
I'll take Florida in 7, but I still feel it's going to be 2 OTs in there. I think Florida is going to come back and be able to tie things up with around maybe a 5-second goal and a 0-second goal and win one off a kickoff, then win one off an absolute duel.
We'll have to wait and see. Again, this is Akron's B team. This is a B team. They're probably the best B team in the country by not really too far because there's pretty good B teams out there, but they would be starters anywhere else in the country. I'm guaranteed that. But again, this is Akron gold. This is not even that Akron blue roster, and this team has won 3 straight national titles, looking to go 4 times back to back today. But again, all 4 teams here, with respect given, are all very good. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Is Florida, again, that last Power 5 school remaining here at the CCS Championships, is Florida, again, out of the SEC, will take on Akron from the MAC.
Well, and you said B team, right? When you said that, I was like, different levels here in the collegiate space. It's showing that, hey, it's almost what we're saying. Our starters are great. Our backups are starters anywhere else, so good luck to you. Pick your poison, but this game's soon to pick up, Nation. Looking at game number 1, what do you feel the scoreline is going to be? Does Florida find a way to keep this close, or do you think Akron takes away with this one, maybe with a 2-goal differential, 3-goal, or do you think it's going to be one where it's going to be tooth and nail?
I think the first the first 3 games, as long as it's not 3-0 after 15 minutes or whatnot, if they let Akron get hot early, it's over. It's just game over, night for Florida. If Akron get hot early, it's game over. But if Florida can hang on and take a game off Akron, or heck, take 2 in the first 3, then they're in their good spot. But again, Akron has trailed a lot of series 2-1 this season and 2 seasons ago when they beat Michigan State and Drexel to win it. So they've proven time and time again that no matter the score, they can come back and pull off a 3. They even had to reverse sweep one season when they won it. So they've proven they can overcome any deficit. So I think that goes to show the experience that this team has and the caliber of competition that this team plays against. And I'm going to take Akron in 7. I think the experience of being here 4 times now will go them well today.
Well, Linja, make sure to put your prediction into chat. Maybe waste some of those channel points to see who you feel is going to come away with it. But, oh man, Nation, if these players are keeping us on our edge, you're saying let's make the fans wait a little longer. We don't want to start the action because we want us to be able to just take this all in, soak up the greatness that's about to happen. And that's why I'm expecting, like we mentioned, 7 games. I'm expecting tighten it. But one thing I want to see is, who is going to be playing the better defense here tonight? Is it going to be a shootout, or are you going to say, like you mentioned, is it 3-0 after 3 games? If Florida going to be able to get onto the board, and I feel here in game 1, you have to find a way to at least get 1 goal. Even if you lose this game, you have to score against this defense.
That you do. I think it really comes down to how good these offenses can go to work against what's going to be a really good defensive series. So I think if your offense can operate at a high enough level, you're going to give your defense a chance to win a championship today. I think that's what it comes down to, is the players are finally here. Well, let's get down to the field. Game number 1, Florida versus Akron.
Well, let's get it. All the wait is over. An entire season of CCS action has put us here to the Final Four, Akron versus Florida. The 2 playoff lives for these 2 teams currently underway.
Akron, Florida, game number 1, finally underway after about 10 minutes or so of a delay, 11 minutes here now, as Akron, Florida, classic a late kickoff, but nonetheless, we'll be excited to have you here. It's going to be a fun day.
Oh man, this is one where we didn't know what the Sunday was going to bring, but you know, the gift that keeps on giving is Rocket League, and we're in here. A Final Four matchup underway.
No SEC schools ever played in a national title game in CCS. Florida can become the first, as Tennessee got to a Final Four a year ago, but couldn't get the job done with Colorado. As 15 seconds into game one, Florida trying to rewrite the history books.
Great defense. Both these two teams already have an amazing shot to start things off. The offense is something that we were talking about. Is he going to get going? Isn't yet allowed himself. But Yon Nation says that one not going to be able to sleep right past me. Won't see too much. Akron have been able to defend perfectly here early on.
It's going to be a defensive battle all night long. Wolfies, another big-time save for Hammy Crackers, keeps Akron off the scoring sheets early in the opening minute. But, you know, look at the midfield presence we're seeing out of Florida. That pressure is going to continue to build on Akron, and how they respond to adversity, you know, whether it's a deficit or, you know, deep pressure in their own zone, will prove why they deserve to win a title later on today. And Florida, if they can overcome it, they're in business.
And I'm liking the speed early, but it's going to be, can you be able to play at this consistently all 7 games if it goes that way? But, you know, for Florida, they're doing a good job of pressuring. I'm liking the adversity that they've been able to overcome. This defense has done well in the last couple seconds to get out of tough situations. We'll see if that offense can try to work its way back.
15 off the clock. Milio, a must-see in the left corner, no good. Rebound won't go, as Jonathan just wide left off the post and no good. 90 seconds into regulation. Game one remains tied at 0. Wolfie, and Florida's defense under siege early.
Well, and this is where Florida, we knew that they were going to be on the doghouse for the most part, where you're going to be putting your back against the goal. And can you be able to take off against a big, hot team like Akron? As the zip in, where the first goal, this one coming in quickly.
And the pressure, Wolfie, it felt like it was due. And they finally gotten one to roll just 6 shots later in a minute 40 seconds. Akron's offense already with 6 shots on the board. They get their first goal, the Final Four. The minute 40 gone. Now Florida looking to respond.
Well, and this is where Florida can't flinch. It's one of those games where we knew it was going to be a heavyweight contest. You got basically a national championship game right before the national championship game. So it's where you're saying, boys, from here on in, we got to try to find a way to not blink and allow our offense to at least start utilizing some 2v3 plays.
You know, after that top 2 finish by Florida and DreamHack, Larry told me, yeah, we are winning the national championship. There's nothing that's going to stop us. Now today, a chance to prove history wrong and knock off 3-time defending national champions Akron. But again, they're in for a long one. Their defense has been under siege early and often in this series. And Akron's offense is so good. It's Oxley finds a second.
And that one just seemed to confuse the defense. He had 2 defenders there, and Sapp had enough boost. And Hammy Crackers as well, just unable to get the touch. Larry on the back end. That one won't be able to get warded away. 2 goals in the first half. 10 seconds remaining here in the first half of action. But Florida, not how they thought they were going to start game number 1.
Not at all. You go into these series where you're going to play a really good team, and you're going to be put in difficult situations. Probably not as often as you might think, Wolfie. And now Akron, obviously in the driver's seat, up 2-0 here. But half the game is still to go, so Florida plenty of time to bring this one back.
That was a great opportunity there for Florida. Just didn't go their way, unfortunately. It's one where, if they give them another chance, you want to get it. The crossbar coming into full effect. The demos will be able to, but will it be enough? Florida off the crossbar for a second time will get denied.
And it's good patience by Milio, knowing that ball's hitting the bar and going towards his right. He knows not to challenge and not to give up a free shot. The Hammy Crackers waiting at the top of the key. And now a chance here from Larry. Midfield strike is no good. As Milio redirects that one out back to Hammy, and Florida will re-enter. But, again, Florida's offense has had opportunities, but again, the Akron defense has been time and proven to be difficult to score on as Milio looks for goal 3. It won't go. But Florida's offense, a lot of work to be done here in the second half.
You mentioned this is the B team, by the way, so that means they got to go against their A squad day in and day out. So they know what great Rocket League looks like. They want to be able to continue putting that expectation for themselves, but they're looking like an A squad, in my opinion. The way they've been playing right now, they're putting everything onto the Gators. The Gators just have not been able to find pay dirt. I'm expecting for that first goal to change a lot here for Florida, but it has to come sooner than later.
And this Florida team, don't get me wrong, swept Akron and DreamHack Atlanta just 2 weeks ago. And now. Akron a chance obviously today to play for revenge, but this is an all-new Akron team, and even going into last season, they played that Great Lakes Esports LAN in Michigan, and Akron did not have a great result, and they came into the CCS championships and absolutely dominated. So I think you take these results with a grain of salt, but when you look at the CCS championships and the job that Akron does at the tournament, it's time and time again, they're highly successful, 3-time national champions, and this is their stomping grounds. They've proven that.
It's different. You're in a comfortable situation. You're in a comfortable environment. And a comfortable lead here for the Zips. A 3-0. Nation, you said 3-0 after the first 3 games. I said give us the first 4.5 minutes to get it done.
Yeah, Florida, if this gets to 3-0, it's over. Florida's got to find a way to win 2 of the first 3. And Oxy's going to save an own goal there for Emilio, but, Florida's got to find a way to win 2 straight here after this one's over. Game 1, sure, hand me crackers, warm-up game. Didn't go your way, chalk it up. Go to game 2. But if Akron take game 2, this is very bad for Florida.
I mean, crackers. Tough shot there off his own backboard. Almost lived up for an Akron chance. There's a little 1-2 punch off the top. Won't see it.
15 seconds left to go. The clock will tick down to 0 here in a moment. But again, Akron's offense will be what a start to the series. Dominated early on. The defense gave up nothing. And Florida the defense had so much pressure built up, they couldn't stop the Akron offense enough. And they got, game 1 didn't go their way. But that's the nicest way to put it here. The defense had too much work to do to even give their offense a chance to go down the field and score.
It was just dominance for here in game number 1 by Akron, to plainly say it. And for Florida, it was just one where it was a tough sledding. You had a couple goals early on. They got warded away. We saw the first minute of action. Both these 2 teams really put it on display, but it was Akron who saw himself just find ways to get it done. You see it, everybody on the save column. 2 saves to their name, 6 for this squad, but out shooting Florida. That's exactly where Florida needs to change things up. You lose game 2, you're going to be looking over your shoulder the Western way. But Akron right now, domination. You look in the dictionary, it has a picture of them right next to it. Can they do the same in game 2?
11-8 was the shot count, and it really didn't feel like it was that close. 3 shot count difference does not make up the story of what happened in game 1. But nonetheless, Akron's defense came up with 6 saves. So, they did what they had to do to keep Florida off the boards. But that means 2 shots went unsaved, and Florida didn't capitalize on either. But if they did, that's a 1-score ball game in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're asking for Florida. Just see yourself on the scoreboard. Now you come into game 2 saying, what do we do to score? Instead of saying, all right, we saw something that we can try to take advantage of in game number 1. There's a lot of bumping going on there in net, but it will be 2 Florida offenders on the other side. The offense for the Gators will just see itself snapping somewhere else.
Akron defense under pressure early here in game 2 as Florida's offense trying to heat things up early and give their offense a chance to start out on the right foot here in game 2 as game 1 did not open up strong as Akron was early to score. I think it was about 3.5 minutes remaining, and things continued to go south. But this is a test for Florida. They've got to find a way to beat Akron here in game 2. This series has got to get to 1-1. I think if Florida's gonna have a chance here, if it gets to 2-0, I think momentum will really carry Akron forward.
Yeah, and this is where, for Florida, if you go down 2-0, you can't really allow that to happen too early right now. You want to keep this as level throughout the entire first 4 minutes. See that last goal in the last 60, if anything, because with Akron, once they're down, they seem to speed up. We haven't seen that yet here, just because we haven't seen them down, but I'm looking for Florida to try to make sure that these next 2 goals that you get, and it has to be 2 goals, Nation. They can't rely on 1. You have to go off a demo play, has to come off assist. They're not getting anything off a solo.
Yeah, and last night against Maryland in game 2, Akron got slammed. 8-2 was the final. Game 3, Akron won 6-0. So they responded right back with a brutal blowout in the following game. So they know how to respond well to adversity and deficits. But the question is, can Florida find a way to get a response, which is much needed here?
Well, they say it's not hard. You get hits, how hard you get up and hit right after. And Akron knows that we're heavyweights. We're used to playing through the bell, and they haven't heard it yet. Closer into halftime here. Yon Nation trying to get a pass to a midfield. Will hit a teammate as that one will just get pushed away. As a transition play now for the Gators.
Actually, on the left wall here, Jonathan will take it back off the left side, and now the Akron offense back across the neutral zone. 1-on-2 with Haney. Crackers will find 1 as Milio towards the corner. Halftime in game 2. Akron, Florida still tied at 0.
And this is the type of game we wanted from game number 1, and it seemed that maybe chat was right. It was a warm-up game there for Florida. They were just trying to see how Akron was going to come, and they saw, hey, they're coming humming. They have ammunition at disposal, and they're taking shots, and they are going to make sure that they pepper our net. But we have to find a way to do the same. They did a good job last game. They only got outshot, I believe, by 3 goals. So this is where Florida just need to find a way, just make things a little easier for the teammates.
3-minute warning. Here in game 2, Akron and Florida still tied at 0 here with 2 minutes to go. And Florida's offense getting a lot more looks here in game 2, which is good news. But Akron's defense remains unscathed. Well, because Florida's still yet to score a goal here this afternoon.
Yeah, and you could tell Akron's not pressured whatsoever. It doesn't seem that they're in a place where they feel uncomfortable. They've been able to defend at such a great length. As an open net the other way, can they get it? One defender back. Larry will be able to get there in the midst of danger, but are they out of it? Hammy Crackers has a chance to do it himself. No boost to his name. Is this will not see it? What a shot, what a defense.
And Akron's defense comes up clutch again on a numbers mismatch for the defense as Hammy will take over in center field. Jonathan right back to it. Now a minute 10 to play. Florida 9 minutes without a goal.
And this is what we wanted. We knew this type of game was in the cards, but it's showing itself in game number 2. Who's going to be able to take it? Final 60 seconds. Both teams are struggling for that first goal, but who will see it? Oxy, he won't be able to, but what a chance. Everyone in net looking at what he'll potentially able to do, cause disruption, but Akron still pushing the envelope. There's a good defense there, as both these two teams have not been able to get off the half of Florida.
And Akron's offense still trying to operate their offense, staying on the field here. Will be 30 seconds to go. As Fleury tries to cross the neutral zone, it's right back into the Florida territory. 30 seconds remaining, a whip from Jonathan. We'll set up Millie from the left wing into the backboard. There's a clear from Hammy Crackers as overtime starts to loom.
Well, this is where we wanted it. Predicted 2 OTs in this one. Will this one be the first? And it would be at a great place. But Florida, you have to take this team deep. You have to make Akron sweat. Allow for that competitive stamina to start to drain through. You need to make OT first. And Akron says that ain't happening. Last second goals.
And that's just the brutality of having to play defense against this Akron offense. They can find brutal ways to punish you, and that they just did with Milio. 7 seconds to go. Akron lead 1.
What a shot. And that the angle that he got now off a kickoff, the biggest kickoff of game number 2. No time to flinch here, as can we see a 0-second goal? They will be able to keep it up. Hammy Crackers get a touch, but won't get too much. Akron now stomping their way to a national championship game, up 2-0 here in a best of 7.
That's exactly what you didn't want if you're Florida. Number 1, trailing 2-0, and number 2, they let Akron score with 7 seconds left. You don't have time to go score an Akron with 7 seconds left. You can't let them do that to you late, especially in a situation where you were looking to overtime. You had a chance to tie the series, and you gave up a late goal.
And it's where you're just having to tell Akron, you're doing everything you need to. You're keeping this team away. Only a 1-goal differential. They're doing a great job of matching Florida's intensity, but Florida just hadn't seen that they've been able to really conquer that intensity. They're playing at Akron, but they're not playing to beat Akron right now with the current game style that they've been able to produce.
I mean, look at the defense here. 3 shots to 2. And a 1-0 final score. I mean, there wasn't many registered shots. I mean, it was a lot of presence and pressure in the midfield that just went back and forth. A couple of solid saves from Emilio earlier on, but then you give Akron a numbers mismatch the other way, and they turn it a redirect. They punish you.
Well, they put a tent up on the side of Florida, and they just said, we're staying the night here. It just seemed the time of possession on that half of Florida was just immense. They never felt comfortable for them. But in game 3, it's now or never. It's here, or you're going to be in a potential sweep talk. Will the janitorial staff come out early tonight, or will Akron lose this one to give Florida an extra game?
Well, this is a must-win for Florida. The offense with 0 goals through 10 minutes. This drought has got to end if they're going to have a chance, Wolfie, and it's got to end here and now as soon as possible. You cannot let this drought get any worse in 15 minutes.
But also, you don't want your season to be one where you got goose egged every match. You want to play to that pride. And I know for Florida, you said it's the first time this team has been able to produce results like this. And they're saying our results aren't over. We want to continue producing. We feel ourselves just starting to bloom as a program, as a team, as Larry taking us all the way the width. Jonathan will get right into his face, but a beautiful pass there. Will it connect? No, it won't.
My goodness.
Save it once again.
And that is the Akron defense and the epitome of why this team wins national championships. It's crazy saves like that just keep this team alive in difficult situations.
It's crazy to us, but it's normal to them as Oxy throwing it through.
And Oxy makes one of the most incredible saves of the series so far, and then turns it into a goal on the other end in transition. That's just textbook Akron Rocket League there.
And you know, for the Zips right now, they knew the type of team that they're in. It never felt that they were, or they felt that they were at a disadvantage. Who knows? Maybe they said we lost that land to win CCS Nation. Maybe they said we didn't want to be able to show you our full cards there. But now we're playing the deck to our favor. Good demo will loosen things up. Akron continue to put a lot of pressure. A shot on may have a chance. Of the 50 will just have Florida going back their other way.
Florida now 11 minutes without a goal. We'll see how long Akron can keep that drought alive for. And I think if Akron do complete it, it will be the first perfect sweep in Final Four in the CCS tournament history. So, you know, they've got a lot on the line here playing for a perfect sweep. Will be no goals allowed.
Well, no goals allowed, but this is where they're saying, hey, one goal at a time. You know, we need to be able to win the minute. You know, find ways to find ourselves the opportunities of making Florida uncomfortable. And Florida, you know, they've had a couple demos, they've had a couple bumps. It just hasn't come their way. I'm telling them not to go away from that. But you're seeing the aggression start coming in here for the boys in blue.
3:06 left to go here. Florida down by 1. The offense trying to find its first goal of the series, Wolfie. And, you know, we're in game 3 and Florida still hasn't scored. And that feels like I'm saying something that's so out of pocket. But it's reality right now. And Florida's got to find a way to get through adversity here. As I told you earlier pregame, that, you know, if Florida can respond well to adversity, they might be in business, but they have not. And Akron is playing lights out right now.
Well, we also mentioned how you can't lose the first 2 games here if you're Florida, and they put themselves in that position. Losing this one just may just get that flight to Cancun booked a little earlier. I'm expecting the Gators here just to try to tie this game up. I still want to see an OT game. This is the Final Four. Take it there.
Florida's offense has got to find a way to score first before you even get to overtime. I mean, I know we almost had the 0-0 OT last game, and Florida probably would have, you know, liked that, but nonetheless, this is Akron you're playing, and you know, if you're going to win a national championship, you've got to find a way to beat teams to get the job done. And Florida has not been able to do that yet. And their offense now with no goal through 13 minutes, something's got to change.
And, you know, you look at that change and you're saying, you know, this team right now, they're just getting outpaced. They're getting outplayed. It's been a lot of the plays that they've been able to come through. It's not that the fact they're not working. Akron's adaptability. There were 2 shots this game where I feel Florida should have had it, but Akron found a way to get the save. They found it, and that comes from just being able to have that competitor in you. Florida, they have to take this next goal. It's not going to be given to you.
Absolutely. Still to try to find Millie on a quick give and go there, but it's no good. Turn wide right as Hammy Crackers will cover it up for Florida. But, you know, now 80 seconds away from a 15-minute shutout as the Akron defense remains unscathed without a single goal allowed in this Final Four.
And they're just saying there's levels to this. And at Akron, you know, we play at a different standard. Cloud 9, Cloud 10 is where their heads are at with the final 66 seconds. Florida struggling for the last goal. Will they be able to see it? But the defense needs to come up with a big clear. Sapp will hold on. It's a good 1-2 play. We'll clear it away.
So round 2, the redirect attempt there from Roxy, no good in the contact. There's 50 seconds, a good demo from Hammy Crackers. Now Oxy in the backfield by himself, as now it's up to Larry, no boost. Oxy an easy clear out to the corner. 40 seconds remaining. Florida still without a goal. 14 minutes of elapsed time, no score.
And that was one where, you know, that was their best option, but two players for Florida, no boost to their name. Oh, what can you do there? You just aren't able to pick up any pads. The big orbs are kind of just at a ways from you, and now you're trying to scramble for anything here late. You might have to just go for a last-ditch effort. Just throw the kitchen sink at them, see what you can get away with, because, you know, if Akron gets a second goal here, it still doesn't matter if you can't score.
10 seconds to go. Demo straight out. Larry, easy save. 10 seconds ago, it's got to be here and now. Wolfie for Florida. It's Akron 3 seconds away from a 15-minute shutout of number 2 Florida.
Well, the book is still open, but the chapter right now has been written by Akron. Florida still having a chance to finish this one, but now a perfect sweep, a reverse sweep, they're going to have to do. And, to do that against the 3-time reigning national champions nation, unlikely a bit. But, you never know in the game of Rocket League.
I mean, right, you never know. And, I said pregame that Hammy Cracker Cereal Ball's going to have to go big today. And, he has a good game here, 401 and 3 saves, but, it's not a solo effort winning a national championship in CCS. It's a team effort. And, sure, if Hammy can lead his team to go crazy for 1 goal or 2 goals, maybe it's enough. But Akron's defense today is proving they are playing right now on the highest level we've seen them play all season. And they are showing that CCS is still their league. They still own this league. This is their stomping grounds. They are 3-0 up with a 15-minute shutout, no goals allowed.
Well, they're saying we come to the swamp and we're going to drain the water out of it. Doesn't matter how big the Crocs are, we find ourselves at a better chance. And, Akron, are they going to beat? Yep, Jonathan. First 10 seconds, his team has found quick goals every single game, and now they see it in the quickest of ways in Game 4.
That's just a classic 1v1. Sap versus Jonathan. And Jonathan taking to the top corner every day of the week. Will it be 1-0, 10 seconds to end this episode lead 1.
Now it's just a ticking time bomb for Florida. This was the worst case scenario was to be scored in the first 10, and now you're at a point where you're going to watch that clock with the desperation on your entire back saying, we need to score, we need to score, we need to score. You need to find a way to take a breath and say, we just need to win, like we said, the half. We got to win the minute. Can we beat them in this next 60 and continue going that way? We'll see what they come out with, but Florida, you're in desperation time.
Toxie, redirect attempt. That would have been on target had it connected. Now Hammy Cracker's looking for a bump. Is no good. Turned leftward by Jonathan. Now Sap fires. Is no good. A rebound from Larry incoming. Flip a reset. Has one touch. It's a lead blocker. It's rightward cleared by Jonathan. Now Hammy Cracker's back to it. And Florida's off it still with nothing. 16 minutes, no goal.
And this is impressive. And, the type of confidence that they're going to have, especially looking into that next match. And, for Akron, they get the option of just being able to watch that next series and potentially just say, hey, we know we can potentially watch. Jonathan putting up 2-0. His team, their mental is sharp, but is Florida's dull? We'll find out as this one's starting to come closer to an end.
Jonathan now on hat-trick watch. 3:53 to go. 107 off the clock. And Akron, again, I said this would go to. I thought this was going to go to 7. I thought Florida, got it figured out. Yeah. DreamHack Atlanta, they've looked good all weekend. They've looked good in the round of 64, and now they're playing a number 1 Akron team that's won 3 straight national titles here in CCS, and now are on the brink of being perfectly swept.
And you're starting to look at this program potentially almost like the Alabama in football here, or the Nick Saban Alabama, where it's a constant championship after championship, greatness after greatness, and they're putting themselves at a great history here. But you know what they say with 4 times nation, that is a legacy, and this is what this team's trying to produce here in CCS. Can Jonathan? Yes, he can. No, he can't. Florida denies them, makes them wait a little longer.
3:15 left to go. Make that 17 minutes nearly without a goal. And, Wolfie, this would be the first perfect sweep in tournament history in the Final Four and on Championship Sunday. Shall Akron hold on for a perfect game here? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. That's just where you're saying everything's going right tonight.
I don't know if I'm just watching one of the best defensive series I've ever watched from Akron, or if this is just how good they are.
I want to say yes to both. It's the best that we've ever seen them. They've had 3 goals, nation, that they have no reason of saving throughout this series, and they have gone to them time and time again. And where you feel that they're going to potentially slip up, they find a way to catch their balance right away.
Half the game gone. Florida down 2-0 entering the second half of what could be the final 2:30 of their season. It's Hammy and Larry trying to combine here. It's Oxy into the corner. Akron will take over. There's 2:18 to go. It's looking grim for Florida.
A chance for Florida. It's one where, it must be tough mentally. I would have loved for them to take almost an unofficial timeout the last couple of games where you see yourself take the full 50 seconds. But, they readied up. They got themselves going. And, unfortunately for them, it just has not been their day. And on Championship Sunday, everything mostly has to line up correctly for yourself, but the stars are not aligning for the Gators.
And everything's in the line, a national championship as well. And Florida came out cold. I mean, Florida Cammy took the whole 60 to ready up after game 2, and I'm not sure how fast he waited after the last game, but Florida's offense has been pulled apart. That's a hat trick.
And there it is. Just able to pull shot it through from almost full distance. Jonathan says, say my name once again. Don't sleep on me, but I'm yawning in their face.
It's minute 32 to go. 18.5 minutes of a perfect shutout for Akron so far. 0 goals allowed. Wolfie, can the defense finish the job?
The way they're playing, it's kind of hard to deny them, but it's kind of where they're wanting to come in here and say, hey, we did a great job. We found the win. We'll see if we can get this next save. Yes, they do. And, another day, just clocking in, clocking out. The hard hat's on for Akron. They says, time to get to work, boys.
109 left to go. 19 minutes of a complete shutout effort. 1 more minute left to go. Can Florida at least get 1 on the board and say they lost, but they didn't get shut out? That's a real question here. Can the offense score 1, Wolfie?
And you want to talk about, this is where we're saying, well, look at the silver lining. Find ways to say we did this, we did that. And Florida say we got 4 on the board.
4-0. That's got to be the kill shot. If 3-0 wasn't. And with 49 to go, barring a miracle, Akron is back to a 4th straight national title game.
So now for Florida, you look at this game, and you kind of just have to say what went wrong. We have to go back onto the replays, kind of see where we can improve. But I hope this for themselves, as far as they have been able to play this season, don't put your head down. It's tough to get to the Final Four. It's one where, of course, you want your aspirations to continue flying through, but it's just the small steps. Akron's been here before. Florida, you're going to be here more often than not. The West is right through.
And yeah, this is experience for Florida. At the end of the day, I'm sure they'll be back in the spring, and their sights are going to be set on a national championship again. And 5-0 goes to score, but this experience will prove to be worth it in the end for Florida, I'm sure. And I think they'll be right back here in the Final Four in the spring.
100%. As the 5th goal, we'll see it. And Florida, off a kickoff, have a chance. But this is one of those games where Akron, they're going to have a quiet of a time to kind of cool down after this year. We don't know what that next game looks like, as a goal won't come. Akron trying to struggle, but we will not see it. Sapp pushes it through.
Well, there goes the perfect sweep, Wolfie. 19 minutes and 51 seconds of a shutout. And they finally do get scored once.
Yeah, so close. It's hard to keep a great team, especially the number 2 team, off the board, and they did so for almost like the longest, or potentially the longest in CCS history, nation. We don't get the perfect, but we'll have to see it next time. But final couple seconds. Will one more go? Yes, they can.
And Sapp going to turn in 2 on 0 seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, Akron Gold are through to the CCS Season 7 National Championship game.
What a job, for Florida, never looking down. They may have lost this one, but 2 goals there towards the end. Hey, you came out with some respect there. You didn't say you got a perfect sweep. The history books won't have your name on it for this one, but what a job for Akron. A sweep puts themselves in prime position. Now they get to watch and see who they play next, nation.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, it's number 2 Wichita State and number 2 Ball State. We'll see you guys soon, about 20 minutes, for the Shockers and the Cardinals.